The African continent, being the second largest in the world, has an untold story of wealth and riches nestling in rest in the belly of the motherland. But this pool of wealth and riches is not invincible to the foreseeing eyes of the learned on the continent. These men, by the reason of their vision and intelligence, have accumulated a fair share of this blessing for their families, catapulting them even to billionaire statuses globally. In fact, most of them growing up did not have silver spoons in their mouth, but through their determination and hard work, their achievements are being echoed in every part of the world as a testament of true riches and opulence. These men are made in Africa. Their families are the most influential and wealthiest in the lands, and their achievements have shaped the trajectory of their country and the continent at large. Join us as we take a gentle ride to the homes of these affluent African families, uncovering their wealth, lifestyle, and the impact they are making all over the world. This is Made in Africa, the Crazily Rich African Families, some of which I bet you have never heard of. From petroleum to banking, mining, real estate, cement retail, media, and entertainment, there are only a handful areas of trade and investment that the Dos Santos family have not spread their reach to. Probably the only reason could be that they are not interested in them. At the helm of it all is José Eduardo dos Santos, the former president of the Republic of Angola. José Eduardo dos Santos ruled as the president of the Republic of Angola from 1979 to 2017. That's a staggering 37 years in power as president and is by far the longest person to rule in the nation's history. As the head of the Dos Santos family, José Eduardo dos Santos was also the nation's richest man with a worth of $20 billion, according to a report by a watchdog. The family also boasts Isabel dos Santos, the first daughter of José Eduardo dos Santos, who is usually referred to as Africa's richest woman. She owns banks, telecom companies, a cement factory, a supermarket chain, restaurants, casinos, and the list goes on. Isabel dos Santos also holds stakes in various utility firms and has a vast portfolio of investments in Angola, Portugal, Mozambique, and the beautiful city of Cape Verde. The Dos Santos family has also birthed amazing, influential people who are doing amazingly well in various sectors, with the likes of José Filomeno, a banker and investor, the media guru Welwitchia José dos Santos Pego, and famous creative José Polano dos Santos, popularly known as Coriandu. The Dos Santos family have greatly influenced the Republic of Angola and the whole of Africa to a point. But amidst all this crazy rich and opulent lifestyle amongst the Dos Santos family lies even a darker truth of corruption, greed, and selfish ruling. Dos Santos has been accused of having led one of the most corrupt regimes in Africa by ignoring the economic and social needs of the people of Angola and channeling his energy and power on amassing wealth for himself and his family. And if anyone opposed his actions, he'd do anything in his power to silence them. The nation was thrown into the shackles of an economic turmoil, as nearly 70% of the population lived on less than $2 a day. That, my friends, is poverty in the highest order. Dos Santos became wealthy when he first took power and began amassing larger assets during and after the Angolan civil wars, according to reports. When the ceasefire occurred and portions of the economy were privatized, he took several emerging companies and industries. According to Transparency International, Angola, as rich as she is, had a reputation as one of the world's most corrupt countries by the end of the reign of Dos Santos. Even after the Angolan parliament made it illegal for the president to have financial holdings in companies and organizations, Dos Santos supposedly began arranging for his daughter, Isabel dos Santos, to receive the financial kickbacks and assets from these companies. Through his power as president, Dos Santos began to take control of stakes in companies offered as kickbacks, which he indirectly controlled and reaped the benefits of, and managed to retain large corporate assets through proxies. The family today faces so many backlashes on how they acquired their wealth and have tied it to abuse of power. Isabel dos Santos in recent times lost a legal battle in London's High Court to prevent a freeze on up to $733 million of her assets, and has been accused of crimes in relation to alleged embezzlement, fraud, influence peddling, and money laundering.
Now, Angola's former president, José Eduardo dos Santos, who ruled Africa's second biggest oil producer for nearly 4 decades, has died.
Unfortunately, José Eduardo dos Santos passed on July 8, 2022, at Tecnon Medical Center in Barcelona, at the age of 79. According to reports, he was in a critical condition after suffering cardiorespiratory arrest on 23 June 2022. He also had cancer for several years prior. But one thing is certain, whether these allegations are true or not, his legacy and impact will live on for many years to come. What do you think about the Dos Santos family and their wealth? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Talking about legacy and impact, let me introduce to you a family whose wealth, like the diamond, is surely eternal. Sir Ernest Oppenheimer, a Knight in the Order of St. John, was a diamond and gold mining entrepreneur, financier, and philanthropist. Born May 22, 1880 in Friedberg, Germany, to a Jewish family, his father Edward, who was a cigar maker, encouraged Oppenheimer and his brothers to leave Germany and its anti-Semitic tendencies in order to make their fortunes elsewhere. In 1896, Oppenheimer, being just 16 at the time, joined his brother Louis at the London firm of Anton Dunkelsbuller, a diamond merchant with business interests in South Africa. Some years after working in the London office, Ernest Oppenheimer sailed to South Africa in 1901 to take over the firm's office in Kimberley, the site of a large diamond mine, after he caught the attention of Dunkelsbuller himself. What started as a broker job for Ernest Oppenheimer in South Africa developed into a mining empire whose wealth and power reigned for years around the world. Fast forward to today, Nicky Oppenheimer, the grandson of Ernest Oppenheimer, leads the family and continues to expand their wealth. He owns about 720 square miles of conservation land in South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Botswana. This South African family was the mastermind who controlled De Beers and founded the Anglo-American Corporation of South Africa. But Nicky, being the heir to the De Beers diamond fortune, sold his 40% of the firm to mining group Anglo-American for $5.1 billion in cash in 2012. For 85 years until 2012, the Oppenheimer family occupied a controlling spot in the world's diamond trade. Nicky Oppenheimer and family's net worth, according to Forbes, is estimated at $9.4 billion. In 2014, Oppenheimer started Fireblade Aviation in Johannesburg, which operates chartered flights. If the saying, "diamonds are forever," is true, then the wealth of the Oppenheimer family is surely eternal. But if you think the wealth of the Oppenheimer family is out of this world, wait until you hear about the university dropout, whose wealth and influence is just absurd and ranks #1 in South Africa. Welcome to AfroQuest, your go-to channel for everything Africa. From politics to history, festivals, local foods, traditions, to the pressing issues of Africa, our in-depth analysis through our short movies provides exclusive insight about this great continent. If you want to learn more about Africa, kindly subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification to be in the know whenever we release a new video. Now follow me as I usher you to the humble abode of the Rupert family. Anthony Edward Rupert was born on October 4, 1916, and was raised in a small town of Graaf, Rionet in the Eastern Cape province of the Union of South Africa by John Peter Rupert and Hester Adriana Rupert. After dropping out of medical school due to lack of funds, Rupert earned a chemistry degree at the University of Pretoria, where he also lectured for some time and subsequently started a dry cleaning business. After a short while, with an initial investment of £10, and together with 2 fellow investors, he started manufacturing cigarettes in his garage, which he eventually built into the tobacco and industrial conglomerate called the Voorbrand Tobacco Company in 1939, and soon renamed it Rembrandt Group. The Rupert family is by far the real definition of humble beginnings. What started out as a small cigarette company in 1941 transformed into a huge billion-dollar corporate empire, making the Rupert family one of the wealthiest and influential families in the world. Johann Peter Rupert, born June 1, 1950, is the eldest son of business tycoon Anthony Rupert and Hubert Rupert, his wife, and is the head of the Rupert family today. Johann Rupert grew up in Stellenbosch, where he attended Paul Roos Gymnasium and the University of Stellenbosch, studying economics and company law. He, like his father, also dropped out of the university to pursue a career in business. Funny enough, in 2004, the university awarded him an honorary doctorate in economics. In 2008, he was awarded an honorary doctorate from Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University. He is the chairman of Richemont, a luxury goods holding company, and Remgro, an investment holding company. He is also the CEO of Compagnie Financière Richemont, a global leader in the luxury goods industry. The Rupert family owns luxury brands such as the infamous Cartier, Montblanc, and Dunhill under the Richemont banner. But aside from the luxury brands and cigarettes, the family also holds a lot of control in the beverage industry, controlling nearly a fifth of South Africa's wine market, as well as up to 80% of all brandy sales. The Ruperts, under the belt of Remgro, also own Mediclinic, which is one of South Africa's biggest healthcare brands. The Ruperts' wealth has grown significantly over the years and is now estimated at a whopping $10.7 billion. The story of the Ruperts is a true testament of not despising the humble beginnings. As we climb up the ladder of the wealthiest families in Africa, we've now reached the pinnacle of opulence, where we cruise in the home of a family who has topped being the wealthiest in Africa for 13 solid years. Get ready to meet the Dangote family. Born April 10, 1957, Aliko Dangote grew up in an entrepreneurial household in Kano State, Nigeria. Being raised a Muslim, Dangote lived an upper-class life in the house of his grandfather, Alhaji Sanusi Dantata. Now, Dangote's grandfather, Alhaji Sanusi Dantata, and family were the richest people in West Africa at the time of his death in 1955. He made his fortune selling commodities like oats and rice. So Dantata took Dangote in and became his guardian after the death of his father in 1965. Little did he know that living with his grandfather will change the trajectory of his life forever. Having spent most of his childhood with his grandfather, Dangote quickly became interested in the world of business. He once said, "I can remember when I was in primary school, I would go and buy cartons of sweets and I would start selling them just to make money. I was so interested in business, even at that time." Dangote's passion to be a business mogul stems from his childhood, and who could have imagined that this tinkering fire burning inside this young boy would one day catapult him to billionaire status. Being a smart young boy, Dangote was opportune to have attended one of the best Islamic universities in Africa, Al-Azhar in Egypt. It was there he fashioned his entrepreneurial vision in his education in business, graduating at the age of 21. After graduating from college in 1977, Dangote managed to convince his uncle to lend him some money to start a business. He received a sum of about $3,000 from his uncle, which allowed him to import soft commodities at wholesale prices from international suppliers. His major imports were rice from Thailand and sugar from Brazil. He then sold those items in small quantities to consumers in his villages at a lucrative markup. The venture quickly became successful and turned into a cash cow. He stated in an interview with Forbes that on his best days, he was making a daily net profit of $10,000, and in only 3 months, he was able to pay back his uncle. Over the years, Dangote has expanded his business empire from cement to sugar to oil, salt, fertilizer, and others, making the Dangote Group the largest industrial conglomerate in West Africa. As it stands now, the Dangote family is the wealthiest in Africa, with a net worth of $20 billion as of June 2022. And for the past 13 years, the Dangote family has been on top as the richest family in all of Africa. But there's also another Nigerian family on the rise to break the over a decade monopoly reign of the Dangote family. This family's net worth has surged over $3.7 billion, from $4.9 billion to $8.6 billion in the past year. Slowly but surely they are rising in the ranks, being the 4th richest in Africa. Which family is this? And who is leading the charge of overthrowing the Dangote family from their long reign as the richest family in Africa? Is this even possible? Stay tuned as we bring you all the juicy details of this family and even more rich families in the land in our next episode. Trust me, it's going to be epic. Which of these families inspire you the most? Let's discuss in the comments section, and we will see you in the next episode. Don't forget to always stay informed. Cheers to Africa.